Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock.
Hi, welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I'm your host, Conan O'Brien, and with me is Sona Monsessian.
Not Sona.
Yeah, you're mad.
I'm not as pretty as her. Anyway,
from Earwolf
welcome
Studios.
to the Train Retail.
This
the
is not
Train
Conan
Retail
O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Slow Growth Podcast. That's Kyle Bullock. I'm Jimmy DeGroot.
Okay, we'll start from the top. Hey, everybody.
I like that as the intro. That's a good
like
one.
That?
So,
guys, here at the Slow Growth Business Podcast this week, we're going to talk about your people and motivation, and I'm going to immediately kick it over to you, Jimmy. What has led to this idea for the week is conversations we've been having with our clients that has spurred us in conversations off mic about what motivates people. And I'll just chime in on the top of this and say, we can work with the leaders of a business and help them determine their motivations, their goals, their aspirations for growing their business. And we have a great time doing that. Okay. Here's the secret to success in really growing a thriving enterprise where you hired other people to help you achieve your goals.
Right. Yeah.
You may have a great goal. You may think, this is my sales goal. This is why I want to do it. Here's my why. And once you share that with everyone else, the passion that they share for it is going to be a lot less than your passion for it.
Yeah. Let's use the word different.
Yeah, different is meaning maybe non-existent. And you cannot blame them for that. This is a fundamental lesson of leadership I've always loved the more I've learned. And that is your passion, desire, and motivation. You listen to us talk, you go to one of our seminars, you go to a trade show, listen to a podcast, and oh my gosh, I've got a why, I've got a fire in my belly, I want to go do it. Then you give it to your team, and they just go, wah, wah. They don't seem to have the enthusiasm that you have for it. And there's a very good reason, because it's your passion, and it's your why. It is not
it's your company.
Theirs. It's not theirs.
Yeah.
Right? And in leadership, as soon as you share your why, it dilutes in the organization. Everybody else kind of just goes, okay, cool. Yeah. All the way down to, I really don't care. Now, you can't slight them for this, but you do need to lead them in this. No, I want that to be our conversation today. And I'm going to kick it over to you, Jimmy, because one of the things that came up, us talking about this, it started with pay. It started with hiring people, going out and finding great help. What do I pay people? How do I hire great help? Where do I find great help? Just seems that you just can't find good help nowadays. My goodness, we hear that all the time. And you said something to somebody today. I want you to repeat it if you know what I'm talking about, because I think it was a great starting point for this conversation about the motivations of people who we hire, maybe even people on our staff as it regards to pay. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Exactly what you're talking about. So I was speaking to somebody who is older than myself, and I'm in my late 50s, and I started off by saying we can't pay people what we used to pay them in terms of how we used to pay them, because in the past could be a very sales driven, commission driven, performance driven retail industry, and so we could find people that could do that and would want to go out there and be great salespeople. And today's people are different. They're more why oriented. They're more team oriented. They're more mission oriented. They're more purpose oriented. And so then that leads, I throw it back to you. Then you've got a beautiful system of pay. And we won't discuss all of that because frankly, folks, you have to pay for that. But but we can be general in how we speak to it and approach it. And so it makes me think about what spot we're filling on our team. Do we need a sales go-getter? And that does not mean pushy and aggressive in today's world. You're going to lose that person. They're going to feel miserably if they're pushing and aggressive, or you're going to fire them, or your team is going to literally, strangle them. So do we need that person? Do we need a person that can fulfill some admin and sales duties? And and then a lot of it is the attitude of a person we get. Do we need somebody who's just looking for 12, 15, 16 hours a week and wants to do something after school or after the kids are gone to school or that type of thing? So there's all of these different mentalities and places people come from that we need to consider when we're filling spots in our organization, filling seats on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah. And pay is an interesting place to start because it seems to be where a lot of people who ask us about their team's motivations, like, man, what do you do for pay? And we've had many conversations with people about pay. It's really not about pay. It's really about motivation.
Sure.
So, like the really, really short, condensed version of my soapbox spiel, I spent a long time in my graduate studies on compensation and pay and motivation. And here's like the 2-minute synopsis or 60-second synopsis of that.
Yeah.
Pay people a living wage where they're not worried about how to make ends meet when they are at work, right?
Right.
They should be able to pay the bills and be a responsible adult with their money if they choose to be, but they shouldn't be trying to starve and think about a second job while they're at your job, right?
Exactly.
Pay them a living wage. Then there are some standards and practices for paying salespeople that we go over with people that we work with. So follow the standards and practices and be transparent. Tell somebody, here's what you get paid. Here's why I'm arriving to that amount. It's not just plucked it out of thin air. I have a reason behind why I'm paying, and here's how you make more money. Okay.
Yeah.
You have those elements down, then most of the time the conversation about pay is not a big deal, if ever. As long as you're paying fairly, it's transparent, and you're looking at cost of living adjustments. Okay.
Right.
That's solved.
Right.
Problem solved. It doesn't solve your motivation problem. And what you're talking about is people coming in today into the workforce, people you already have on your payroll today on your workforce, they're not motivated by pay. And no one ever really was, but they really, really aren't today. What is the value that they're bringing the world? And I would hone in on this because you can come to them and say, guys, I have a great why. This is why we exist. Our jewelry store exists to create these amazing memories and relationships with people. And isn't it going to be amazing if we can hit these goals, guys, and we really change people's lives? And remember, that was your passion. That was your why. And it's not that you shouldn't share that. Absolutely, you should, because that's your passion, your why for being in business. It is not necessarily theirs.
Right.
What will sell it to them, what will make them claim that why is if it aligns with their reasons for being there. Some people want a job. They just want a job.
Yeah.
Some people need a job and they need to make ends meet. Some people don't want a full-time job because what they really want to be is a part-time stay-at-home parent who teaches their kids life lessons and is there for their kids, right?
Makes me think of a story that I interviewed a couple of years ago of a super seller slash manager in Pennsylvania, and he was just incredible. And I asked him, "How did you get in the jewelry business?" And he goes, "I wanted a job indoors." I was working outside, and I was tired of working outside in Pennsylvania in February.
There you go.
So I mean that's a motivation.
Yeah. And that's a great one.
I know
There's nothing
people
wrong with
who,
that.
can't wait to get to work to get away from whatever's going on at home.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too. And those are
yeah,
not bad reasons because it's their reasons. And if you hear
yeah,
their reasons and you go, that's not a good reason, you're doing to them the same thing they're doing to you. You're going, their reason is not as good as my reason. I don't really care. Well,
yeah.
people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right, right, right. How do we hear their reasons? What's a good way? And I don't know the answer for that. But I mean, is that a conversation we sit down and have? It's probably not going to happen at the interview, right? Because they're
No.
in say what they think you want to hear kind of mode. Then,
Oh, that's such a good question, Jimmy, that I was going to ask you that question.
oh
Then
crap!
you're
Now what do we do?
well, now we well, kick it over to the Adam Grant podcast.
The
No, I'm
listeners.
kidding. I'm kidding. Stay with us. The first thing I was thinking is old church principle is look at your time, talent, and your treasure. That's where your heart is.
Hmm.
And so I've learned that if you ask somebody, what's your why, what's your motivation, then they probably, whatever they say is probably not true. And not because they're lying to you, but because it's hard. That's a hard thing to articulate. It's hard for me to say what my passion is unless you spend a long time really coming up with the words for that. But,
Right.
old preachers would say to me, if you want to know where a person's heart is, look at where they spend their time, look at where they spend their talent, and look at where they spend their treasure, their money. That is where their heart is. So if you look at these people that you have on your team, if you look at the people you're interviewing, you can ask them the questions about what do you spend your time? What would your ideal time spent when you're not at work? What are you doing? And who are you with? Look at what they spend their money on, what they talk about. What do they do on the weekends, on the time, and the days off? Like,
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
man, just kind of observe, and then you'll start to notice, you know, man, that person spends a lot of time with their kids, and it's really important to them that they have that time. So when they ask for time off or they ask for a schedule that caters to that, what they're really asking is what aligns with where they want to spend their time. Or the opposite, like we both had people on staff that work was a respite. They wanted to
Right.
get away from whatever was back there. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of their motivation, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think that's what would you say? How would you find someone's deep why?
Well, I love that. That's fantastic. I love to use the flag page as a tool, which is kind of like your inner motivations kind of thing. I think we've talked about that before, and you and I love using it with our clients. You can do it on your own, by the way. It's called flagpage.com. So it's a flag page. Just it was designed initially as a marriage tool, but we're finding huge use for it in the employment sector as well. So, you know, yeah, I think it's important to define that or to learn that. And if there's the sooner you can find out their motivations. Okay, is somebody a money hungry, mongering, greedy, et cetera? We're going to want to know that before we instill them in our sales floor. And the purpose of this, the topic today is just to kind of realize who's out there, what's out there, and what are they looking for in employment. And do you think that's an okay question to ask in an interview? What ultimately would you like to just get out of this job? Or is that a good way to phrase that?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is funny. I was thinking about interviews. This is a little off topic, but I was thinking about interviews the other day, and I was thinking they really don't. They're not very great. I'm not good at. I don't think anybody's good at interviewing. Truth. I mean, there's bad ways to interview, but
Right.
you learn so little about a person in that
Right.
moment. Like
Right.
so little. No matter even if you have like 3 rounds of interviews, it's a good practice, but it's not going to give you like the you're not going to know for sure.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think you can ask those questions in the interview and then begin to observe that person and go, is the answers they gave me aligning with where they are spending time, talent, treasure? I mean,
Mhm.
If they said, my future is really important and I want to be in college for a great career, look at the kind of the evidence of their life. Are they prioritizing their time and their money and their energy and their efforts into that endeavor?
Mhm.
Or is that you don't really see the evidence of that, and so you go, that that seems like a line then that you just said because it's the right thing to say. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Another rabbit hole then. Okay. So I think if you're having a discussion with somebody, my interviews, I do not like sitting behind a desk at an interview. I hate sitting behind a desk and talking to somebody anyhow. So I will always pull my chair out so that we're face to face, without that barrier in between. That's just me. It's you do whatever you want, whatever makes you tick. But I think if you're having a good discussion with somebody, if that discussion feels natural and organic and you're gelling with somebody, I think it feels like you've got a good candidate because then you're getting honesty, you're getting good vibes from, whatever they're saying, or the fact that you're conversing at all versus a very stoic, nervous reply conversation. That I'm I'm uneasy with that. So I don't know if today's is podcast is about interview techniques or what exactly it's about, but it's about recognizing different people. And
Yeah.
so, but also I wanted to address what that is. We're tending in this, especially in the retail sector, to be what's the word? Warm body syndrome, and so we're tending, I think, to hire a little too quickly, and not have those nice deep conversations where we're almost desperate for people to come and work. So
Yeah.
my
Uh,
so that's why I feel like if you're having that good conversation, you're already miles ahead.
yeah.
So
I'm going to
we're
disagree
good.
with you on something, and we rarely ever disagree. So this is
No,
controversial, everyone.
good. We need this.
Bookmark this.
This is what you put on the
Yeah.
thumbnall.
This will sell
Jimmy
us.
and Kyle disagree.
Look
Go.
out, Joe Rogan. We're coming for top spot on the podcast. Networks.
Why
Uh,
Kyle hates Jimmy.
yeah. No, it's not that we disagree. I would say I've come to learn that in interviewing people, depending on the job, good conversation's nice if they're going to be customer facing. Like if you can't have if you can't have a conversation that's easy to flow with
Sure.
me and you just met me, you're not going to be a great salesperson.
Right.
Uh, but that's not every position. And sometimes the greatest people I'm thinking of have had and have, they aren't easy. Like they're not at ease in that first meeting. Which is a
Right.
very
Okay.
odd. Interviews are very odd things for them. So in those situations, yeah, I'm looking at the trustworthiness of this person in the role that they're going to inhabit, but I'm also looking for people. If I just interviewed people who are easy to talk to and that was it, I would have a staff of all the same people and
Right.
it would
Right.
not work. And it would only
Okay.
be people that relate to me.
Good
And
point.
I don't shop at my store, right?
Good point.
Okay, but that being said, let's say we're interviewing. So, what are we looking for? What are we looking for in the interview? What are we looking for in our current team in aligning those goals? We're looking to align time, talent, and treasure to see what is their motivation. But
Mhm.
remember, you have your motivation and why you do what you do in your business.
Right.
And in a contest, when it comes to your business, if you're the owner, your why, your drive beats everybody's, okay? Yours is
Right.
still top dog
It's still yep, and it should be published. It should be out there. Everybody should know it.
and talked about all the time.
Mhm.
We literally pay stars on the show floor, everyone to see, and we talk about it all the time. Now,
Sure.
now we know that their motivations may not be, or probably are not, the exact same as ours, and we know that ours is important. So now, how do I get those things to align, Jimmy? How do I get the team out there who I've realized may have different reasons for coming to work than me to fall in line with the idea and vision that I have for the business and where we want to go? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
time to grow. How do I get them to line up?
You're setting me up here because you know the answer. And by the way, thank you for Thank you for bringing us back on topic because I brought us down a rabbit hole I didn't know we were going to get out of.
I
So
got you.
kudos to you. Thank you.
Podcast producer for 3 years. I can do that. But
Good job.
I do have an answer for this, but I'm wildly more interested in your answer
Well,
for this.
you okay? So my favorite little tool is the flag page because it starts that conversation of knowing people's inner motivations, what makes them tick. And you and I do a talk at shows called Speak Their Language. And we all know you speak to people differently because of their motivations, what makes them tick. So, for example, if you have somebody that is a high peace country person, referring to the flag page, of course, there's Myers-Briggs, there's a lot of different tests out there, but you speak to them in peace language. For example, I appreciate what you thought about that or how you thought about that. I appreciate the work that you did in that. And also appreciate, I'm using the word appreciate a lot for peace country people, in that how you thought of everybody else for that. So thank you for that, because I don't always think of that as the leader. I kind of tend to be like a bulldozer and step on people from time to time. And I don't mean to do it, but I appreciate you and you're a very important part of the organization because of that perception. And I thank you so much for that. So that's how we speak to a peace country person. So knowing how to speak their language to their motivation. And you could even refer to something in their home life and what they mentioned is important or a hobby that they have. And then, of course, by the way, also, all of these people, these different motivations, they all work on the sales floor. Okay.
Yeah.
It's understanding who we're talking to on the sales floor, but also making sure that they are in a position or the seat on the bus, as Jim Collins would say in Good to Great, a seat on the bus that feeds that motivation for them on a regular basis. Okay. So you may have a single lady who's newly divorced and now she needs to become the breadwinner for her family. She's going to be highly motivated to be out on that sales floor full time and making sales, probably, whether that's situational desire or that's maybe her inner desire. I'm going along on this, and then you may have somebody who wants to be is very much a perfectionist and loves sitting at the back desk, entering things into inventory. Okay. Kind of leave me alone kind of thing. Let me do my job. So putting those people in the right position is important too. And what makes them tick.
So you're saying getting them to align in your vision starts with speaking to them the way that they respond.
Yeah.
Because not everyone should be talked to the same. Everyone has a different kind of inner language. So matching that and then helping them by matching their personality, their inner language with their job, helping them craft it. I like to say job crafting it to what they're built for, right?
Yeah.
Doing that, you're saying, shows them that you care enough, that they should care, that you care enough about them that they will end up caring enough about you and yours, and that will begin to align you.
Right. And then to your point, it's not all about pay, but if the pay aligns with that, I'm going to pay you this much for being in the back room. And when you're out on the sales floor, you're going to get this much for sales or whatever you do. But if that's in alignment, you're going to have a very happy person on your hands. And like you said earlier, you're going to probably have very few discussions about money. If you're providing them a good living wage and a great environment and something that makes them feel good and kind of, right in the center of their bullseye of what they love doing, you're going to have very few discussions on money and you're going to be thinking about it more than they are. I guarantee you that.
I'm glad I asked you because you articulated it so well. And I have nothing that I would add to that. That it really is, as I think it was a Maxwell quote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That when you are so excited about your why or whatever, scratch the itch that got you ready to grow the business to the next level, the team's not going to feel that with you. They're not in your shoes. They're not even rewarded the same way that you're rewarded.
Right.
And so just take time to figure out, well, what's in it for them?
What drives them? Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
and I would only add this, okay? Because you gave a very the positive actions, like go out and connect with people, speak their language, put them in the right roles, and really think about what would fulfill them in their personality and their language. I'll
Yeah.
just add to it, there's a dark side that you need to avoid, which is don't go stepping on their motivations. Don't go
No.
stepping on their core.
No.
It's really important that you figure out what is driving them.
Right.
Quick case in point, if you think I'm going to incentivize them with bonuses and perks and blah, 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 and it works for a lot of people, but you got one person on the floor who's really good and she's a single mother and she's working her tail off, but she needs off at a certain time.
Mhm.
Okay. And you just go, she asked for a day off to take her kid to a track practice or something. And you're just like, no, I need you to work. You just
Mhm.
stepped perhaps
Yeah.
on her most core thing. And
Right.
she can ask for a lot and you might be able to say no. But when you step on a core thing for somebody, you're showing them, I know it's so important to you, or maybe I don't even know that it's important to you. That hurts
Mhm.
enough. But if you
Right.
do know that it's important to you, and then I stop you from being able to do it, you are now the enemy. And they
Yeah.
will never want to align their values with yours.
No, and they're immediately checking out and starting to think about other employment options.
Absolutely. So,
Guarantee it.
like, know what it is that makes your people really tick and hum
Yeah.
and protect their values at all costs.
Mhm.
Now, not at the expense, I would say, of yours. If you're finding that your whys are diverging and you're not the same, well, then maybe it's a parting of ways.
Right.
But protect them. Like if you need to pick up a shift to give her that opportunity, I guarantee you that when she's back and she knows that you sacrificed so that she can have something that's very important to her,
Mhm.
she's going to come back on Monday and she's going to protect what's very important to you
Yeah.
because she knows you got her back.
Oh, yeah, the ROI on that is gonna be absolutely huge.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Okay, quick story. Heidi came to me one day, and she came to in my office one day, and she just had tears in her eyes, and I knew what it was. I mean, she was never hitting sales goals, and I just looked at her and I said, "You're not having any fun, are you?" And then she really started crying. She goes, "Nope, I hate it. I hate working with customers. I hate this," and I said, "But you interviewed and said you wanted this." Yeah, I did, but it was what I needed at the time or what I thought I needed at the time.
Mm.
And I said, "How about this? How would you like it if you came in at 8 o'clock in the morning and you started setting up the store for the team? So you open the safes, you pulled all the jewelry out, start putting it in. In fact, you could set up the whole store. Get the coffee going, go in the back, open up the mail, open up packages from, our vendors, start entering that. And you could do that in jeans and a hoodie. And just as I was telling her this, her tears went away, the smile came to her eyes, and she almost said, "I will go and fight the biggest dragon for you if you will give me this." I'm like, "Jimmy, you are a smart leader. Boy, boy." And I almost hurt my arm patting myself on the back. So, but I'll tell you what, and I joke about that, but you know what? It was so beautiful for me to have a position that I needed filled and to have her so happy. And frankly, the pay was so negligible. It was not even, it was so worth it for her. She, at the time I think it was like 12 or $13 an hour. And this was a long time ago. And she just made her so happy. And oh man, the ROI on that person has just been amazing. And also the ROI for the rest of the team to not have to do that crap that she
Yeah.
loved doing. Um, Man, that's why I'm so about, finding what makes everybody tick and really trying to cater to that. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I just love that.
I've
I know
kept
you do too.
I do too. I mean, I was smiling listening to that story. I love that story. And I want to cap it with this. I want to paint a picture for you listeners. That's a real picture. I promise you it's a real picture. That you can have a business, a company that isn't just, we have a good culture. I mean, some of you may listen to this and you're like, I got some people on staff and it's 50-50 over here. It's not great. Some of you may have people who go, we get along great. We're buzzing, we're humming. Everyone's pretty happy. We got a good culture. To both of those scenarios, I want to elevate a picture for you of a place where everybody comes in, feels safe, feels cared for and loved, like you're on a team where everybody has got your back, and they're all aces. The whole staff, everybody is the best. That is possible. It is absolutely possible. And believe it or not, I truly believe it was possible with at least most of, if not all, the people you already have on staff.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of jewelry stores and small businesses say, I just need to hire more help because we're so busy. The truth is, in those calls, we listen to those and we often, after the call, go, you don't need more help. What you need to do is elevate your current help. Elevating your people, caring for them at the level that we're talking about, and bringing them into alignment means that you guys are jiving in a place that's just a blast to be. And it's absolutely possible. It just takes time. And it starts with aligning everyone's mission and caring for them the way that we've talked about here.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're the boss, it starts with you caring about that.
Amen.
You know, and finding out and having great conversations with people. Yeah, it's possible. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. And so we can't wait for all of you to get this.
I know.
Let's get it. So
heck, we have it at Train Retail. I know we talk about this every week. I love what we do. I love what we do. It's made my jewelry store a better place doing this. I love working with you, with our assistant Taryn. It makes this just fun. So, all right, into the podcast. You guys, you know the drill. This is a possible future for you, and we'd love to be a part of it. Trainretail.com. You can see all the cool stuff we do, including the one-on-one work that we do with our clients all over the country. Kyle at Train Retail, Jimmy at trainretail.com. Shoot us a message anytime, whether you're a client, subscriber, or not. We want to hear from you and how we can help you in whatever state you're in. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave us 5 stars, send us a basket of fruit, tell your neighbor about us, and then write an article for the New York Times telling them why this is the greatest podcast you've ever listened to. Do all that in the next hour, and your life will be better and changed. Right?
Mangoes for me. I think papaya for Kyle.
Mango wins in season,
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Appreciate you.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at kyle@trainretail.com or jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.